brilliance, your numbers, the way you crunch them, but what I have learned, I've learned so much from you, but how you treat everyone in this business is, you're the model. You're the model of Mary Kay Ash. Thank you so much. Welcome, my friend, Cheryl Warfield.
Okay, I'm going to start with this. We have to keep our sense of humor in everything we do. So I'm going to start with this. Oh Lord, I'm not what I should be. Oh Lord, I'm not what I want to be. And oh Lord, I'm not what I could be. But oh Lord, I'm not what I used to be. I want you to know that today my talk is not about me, it's about you. I have lived your future, and I want you to know it's going to be great. And so what I want to do today is share with you what I believe your future is and what you have ahead of you. Because yes, I've had a great journey, and yes, I've loved my life. But you know, recently a hairdresser asked me about Mary Kay's future. And this is what I said to him. My vision of Mary Kay over the next year is this. The pendulum is getting ready to swing back into massive growth. And I believe that with all my heart and soul. I want to tell you that the National Sales Directors had a luncheon with David Hall. You probably won't like me quoting him. However, in his conversation, he talked about global sales and how they were doing this and they were doing that. And then he said in the U.S. sales, this is the third year in a row he said this, and the U.S. sales are flat. Well, Sandy Miller's son took care of that conversation when he was on stage, because he said, flat? Your women aren't flat? And I loved it. Douglas Miller, good for you. But you know what? I want you to hear, because you might have lost a few offsprings. And you might be sitting here doubting. And I need you to know, it's not just you. There was a time in Mary Kay we had 18,000 sales directors. The pendulum was over here. And now we're down to around 12,000. And you know, that's not your fault, it's not anybody's fault, but here's what I know for sure. A pendulum that goes this way, always goes this way. And Mary Kay has already started it. She has kicked off the contest for how many red jackets? 30,000. 30,000. What do we know about Mary Kay? A third. That means 10,000 potential sales directors are coming out of that program, and they're going to be somebody's offspring. Yes. The question is, are they going to be yours? Yes. That's the question. You know, so many people doubt, and what we have to do is stop that. So I'm going to resell you on direct selling. There you go. Go figure. I am going to tell you, most adults following the college model do end up well trained in their job, but they're also saddled with tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. And since most people in their 30s or 40s are not even in the career they majored in, the debt they are carrying is depressing. Who can help them? Tell me who can help them. I can. Say, I can. I can. Okay, here we go. Okay. One of the myths in direct selling is most distributors give up, one of the facts, most distributors give up long before they could succeed. And all of the above who were successful did not quit. The fact that people with average ambition and commitment and effort don't do well in business like network marketing. The fact is, I'm going to repeat that, the fact is, people with average ambition, average commitment, average effort do not do well in network marketing. Stop recruiting them. Just in case you don't want frustration, maybe you want some frustration. We have to instead go after. To be successful, one must have high level of personal confidence, love to talk to people, be comfortable creating new relationships every day, be coachable, and most important, be a proud ambassador of your company. Yes. Those are the people we want, right? Yes. Here's the deal. 175,000 people every week join a network marketing company in the USA. 175,000 people a week join one of the direct selling companies in the USA. 475,000 people a week worldwide. Just saying. There are 15 million Americans and 67 million people worldwide who participate at some level in direct marketing. The idea and the time has come, and it's about to explode in a big way. Some of the smartest people in the world are taking advantage of it. Warren Buffett just bought a half a dozen direct selling companies. He says, you know who Warren Buffett is, by the way? Yeah. Okay, an investor, the money guru of America. Okay, he said, they are the best investment Berkshire Hathaway ever made. Luckily, he can't buy us, but he's buying up direct selling companies. Why? Is he stupid? No. Because he's smart. How does it work? Number one, there are basic activities required to create your own four-year career. Number one, you have to use the product. Yes. Number two, you got to recommend the product to other people. And number three, you have to invite people to take a look at it. Take a look at the company, look at the opportunity. Momentum in Mary Kay is like this. Launching a every time you read this, just instead of network marketing, put in the word Mary Kay, because anyway. Launching a Mary Kay sales group is much like pushing a car over a very slight hill. Imagine that you ran out of gas as you were driving up the hill. At the top of the hill, the road becomes flat for some time period, and then slightly descends to the bottom of the hill where there is a gas station. Your mission is to get out of the car, get in it, and roll that car up the hill to the top, keep it going on the flat section, and then you hop in and ride to the riches. It is the same thing. In the beginning, you will exert the most amount of effort, promoting your product, enrolling new people for the least amount of return in the beginning. Once you get things rolling, it will take less effort and keep them rolling, but you must keep pushing. Because once you hit momentum, you just hop in and ride the wave. Your future is bright. You know, those of us who are becoming a relaunch or whatever it is we're doing, I don't know, we're doing we're just staying rich. That's what we're doing. You know, Mary Kay's given us a rich life and we're staying there. I just want you to get resold on what you have in front of you, because sometimes all the things we hear, we're not normal. We're not the normal person that does things. We are the people who are following Mary Kay's path, offering it to the world, and we can change lives forever. So there are 5 lessons about people that I want to share with you. Number one, I want to read this. During my second month of college, our professor gave us a pop quiz. I was conscientious, and I breezed through the questions until I read the very last one. What's the first name of the woman who cleans our school? Surely this was some kind of joke. I'd seen the cleaning woman several times. She was tall, dark-haired, in her 50s, but I didn't know her name. I handed her my paper, leaving the last question blank. Just before class ended, one student asked if the last question would count toward the grade. Absolutely, the professor said. In your career, you will meet many people. All of them are significant. They deserve your attention and care, even if all you do is smile and say hello. I've never forgotten that lesson, and I learned her name was Dorothy. Lesson number 2. Pick up in the rain. One night at 11:30 p.m., an older African-American woman was standing on the side of the Alabama highway, trying to endure a lashing rainstorm. Her car was broken down and she desperately needed help. Soaking wet, she decided to flag down the next car. A young white man stopped to help her, generally unheard of during those conflict-filled years of the 1960s. The man took her to safety, helped her to get assistance, and put her into a taxi cab. She seemed to be in a big hurry, but she wrote down his address and thanked him. 7 days went by, and a knock came at the man's door. To his surprise, a giant console color TV was being delivered to his house with a special note attached. It read, "Thank you so much for assisting me on the highway. The other night, the rain drenched not only my clothes, but also my spirits. Then you came along, and because of you, I was able to make it to my dying husband's bedside just before he passed away. God bless you for helping me and unselfishly serving others. Sincerely, Mrs. Nat King Cole. Wow. Number 3, always remember those who serve. In the days when an ice cream sundae cost much less, a 10-year-old boy entered a hotel coffee shop and sat at a table. A waitress put a glass of water in front of him, and he said, "How much is the ice cream sundae?" 50 cents, the waitress said. The little boy pulled out his hand out of his pocket with all of his coins, and he studied them. "Well, how much is a plain dish of ice cream?" he asked. Well, by now, more people were waiting for that table, and the waitress was growing impatient. "It's 35 cents, she said. The little boy again counted his coins. "I'll have the plain ice cream," he said. The waitress brought the ice cream, put the bill on the table, and walked away. The boy finished his ice cream, paid the cashier, and left. And when the waitress came back, she began to cry as she wiped down the table. There, placed neatly beside the empty dish, were 2 nickels and 5 pennies. You see, he couldn't have the sundae because he didn't have enough to leave her the tip. 4th lesson, the obstacle in our path. In ancient times, the king had a boulder placed on a roadway. Then he hid himself and watched to see if anyone would remove the huge rock. Some of the king's wealthiest merchants and courtiers came, and they just simply walked around him. Many loudly blamed the king for not keeping the road clear, but none did anything to get the stone out of the way. Then a peasant came along, carrying a load of vegetables. Upon approaching the boulder, the peasant laid down his burden and tried to move the stone to the side of the road. And after much pushing and straining, he finally succeeded. And then the peasant picked up his load of vegetables, and then he noticed a purse was laying on the road where the boulder had been. The purse contained many, many gold coins, and there was a note from the king, indicating that the gold was for the person who removed the boulder from the roadway. The peasant learned what many of us never understand. Every obstacle presents an opportunity to improve our condition. The final lesson, giving when it counts. Many years ago, when I worked as a volunteer at a hospital, I got to know a little girl named Liz, who was suffering from a rare, serious disease. Her only chance of recovery appeared to be a blood transfusion from her 5-year-old brother, who had miraculously survived the same disease and had developed antibodies needed to combat the illness. The doctor explained the situation to her little brother and then asked the little boy, he was 5, if he would be willing to give his blood to his sister. I saw him hesitate for only a moment before taking a deep breath and saying, "Yes, I'll do it if it will save her." As the transfusion progressed, he lay in bed next to his sister and he smiled, as we all did, seeing the color return to her cheek. And then his face grew pale and his smile faded. And he looked at the doctor and asked with a trembling voice, "Will I start to die right away?" Oh my gosh. Being young, the little boy had misunderstood. He thought he was going to give all of his blood to his sister in order to save her. Now you have 2 choices. You can just listen to this and feel good and go, or you can live with no regrets, treat people the way you want to be treated, work like you don't need the money, love like you've never been hurt, and dance like you do when nobody's watching. Thank you very much.